Welcome back to Mind Pump TV. I'm your host, Danny Matranga, and today I'm going to show you 2 must-do movements for improving your overhead press. The most common mistake I see with all overhead press variations, whether that be kettlebells, dumbbells, but especially barbell, is the inability to get the bar or object completely overhead into full extension. Not enough usable space in the shoulder capsule, right? Something's deficient here or at the scapula, and that presents itself like this. You'll start to see the barbell travel up and forward. The spine will actually start to bend to mimic the bar path we want, because we know where we want the bar to end up. We want it overhead. But if you can't get there, you could kind of mimic it with the spine. And that's why a lot of people suffer from mid and lower back pain when overhead pressing. You can also start to develop rotator cuff or even impingement issues from loading the shoulder improperly. So I'm going to show you 2 functional range conditioning exercises to get your shoulder working at full capacity and bulletproof it forever. The 2 movements I'm going to show you are called controlled articular rotations, which is just a fancy way to say actively moving a joint through all of the usable space you have with the goal to acquire and lock in even more. So we're going to be focusing on the glenohumeral joint CAR, which is the top of the upper arm bone where it inserts in the shoulder, and the scapular CAR, which is the shoulder blade. When those 2 joints work perfectly together, the shoulder can do almost everything it needs to do safely and effectively. When they don't, that's when we start running into issues. The shoulder should be mobile and able to move in a lot of different planes, but if it's deficient anywhere, you're going to start to have referred pain in a lot of different places. Whenever we do a functional range conditioning controlled articular rotation, the goal is to create tension throughout the whole body. So I like to start by gripping the ground with my toes, getting a light flex in my quad, trapping a breath in the bottom of my belly and bracing my core, and taking the off arm, obviously the arm I'm not working, making a fist. I should have whole body tension. Then I work into my glenohumeral and my scapular CAR. The glenohumeral CAR starts with forward flexion or upward movement of the arm. You want to rise up, keeping the thumb up, as high as you can without bending your spine. If you can only make it to face level, stop there. You can get here, fine. Ideally, we want that bicep to cover the ear. We do not want any bend of the spine. Once you've reached full overhead flexion, we start to rotate and spiral downward, trying to keep the movement line as similar as possible, minimizing rotation of the trunk. When done properly, you're going to end with the palm facing away from the body and the flat of the hand against the hip. The second part of the same movement is going back around the way we came. And instead of starting with flexion, we actually start with extension. You're going to notice you run into a distinct roadblock here at the end. You won't be able to go any higher than this. That's when we start to rotate the opposite direction and come back around. Again, maintaining whole body tension through the entire movement. For those of you that have mobility issues, you might find that you're only able to make it to here and that rotating back is uncomfortable. All you need to do is move in a little bit, shorten the range of motion. Even if it just looks like this, it's about articulating all of the usable space you have in the shoulder with the goal of acquiring and fortifying more. The second CAR we're going to go over is the scapular CAR, or the CAR for the shoulder blade. Both the glenohumeral joint and the scapula need to move properly for the shoulder to function correctly and safely in the overhead press. All the same tenets apply for the setup. Remember, we tense at the feet, flex of the quads, brace with the glutes and core, making sure we have whole body tension. Take the off arm, flex, extending the arm outward, and we begin with retraction of the scapula. We're pulling the shoulder blade back against the ribs like we're trying to crunch a walnut, a quarter, a pencil between our shoulder blades. Then we move upward into elevation, shrugging the shoulder without moving the other side of the body, maintaining tension. Then we move into protraction, or sliding the scapula forward across the rib cage, and then depression, sliding it down. And we work our way back and forth in this same loop, along this same line, keeping tension and trying to actively get a little more range of motion out of this guy each and every time we do it. right? After I've done a few, I'm gonna brace still, switch arms, and go again. Maintaining that same loop, trying to get a little bit more out of it each time. So after you've acquired more usable space overhead, you should be able to press the barbell up and overhead fully, a proper overhead press. But until then, it's better not to press barbells overhead until you can use your shoulder like a shoulder. When it comes to the cars, the most important thing you want to be focusing on is feeling like you're doing actual work. This is not passive stretching. This is actively searching to gain new mobility. Something a lot of new people fall into when they do this for the first time is they just kind of roll the arm around or push it in and out like it's some type of stretch. This is not a stretch. You should be feeling your upper back muscles work as you push the scapula forward and back and up and down. You should feel yourself accessing and struggling through new ranges of motion as you do your glenohumeral car. This should be work. That being said, I recommend you do these daily. If you have time to do them in the morning, I would absolutely do them in the morning, and even throughout the day. You need to take an active approach to your mobility and your joint care, and especially when it comes to the shoulder, because it's one of the most capable yet fragile joints.
All right, thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you guys liked that video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have any questions regarding this video, just leave them in the comments below. We'll be coming back periodically and answering those for you.